Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tuned. Today we're going to be dyno tuning this B18B Honda Civic with an eBay turbo kit, slightly choked up exhaust, log manifold, lots of back pressure, stuff like that, but a fun little cheap entry-level turbo kit for this guy getting into building his Honda Civic. And it was on pump gas, and we swapped out the injectors and stuff like that. If you guys check out the last couple of videos that I posted on the YouTube channel here, you'll see some of the work that we did in preparation to get this thing ready for the dyno and to make some power. I was unaware when I started tuning this car that it was on pump gas 87 octane, which normally I would never touch, but I didn't know. I figured it had 91 or 93 octane pump gas in it, but when I started tuning, I actually realized this thing was definitely on some pretty crappy fuel, and with the choked up exhaust and log manifold and everything like that, the detonation appeared very easily. And I didn't really film it, but I wanted to just mention it before the video. It was tuned on 87 octane, and I could audibly hear this thing pinging, detonating, when it got heat soaked after I did a couple runs back to back. I could hear it pinging with 14 degrees of ignition timing on 10 pounds of boost. So quality of fuel is everything, guys. Make sure you put some good fuel in your car if you're going to be beating on it and getting stuff hot and using some of these cheap parts. The least you can do is put good fuel in it. But enjoy the video. Hopefully you guys enjoy the pulls on the dyno, and subscribe if you guys are new and this is your first time here. Hit the like button if you enjoy this content, and enjoy. All right, guys, we finally got the Civic all strapped down onto the dyno. So we're ready to start driving this thing and see how close the tune is and get some more stuff dialed in there. To start off, we're going to be able to, or we're going to sync up the dyno. So we're going to get the computer started up over here with the TV, and we're going to enter in this guy's info so we have his runs and stuff saved. I do this on every car prior to what you guys normally see. We'll just add a new folder into the dyno software, and then we'll set everything up for his car specifically. Alright, so we got the Civic up and running. I did a little bit of driving on the dyno, and I got the cruising, air, fuel, and stuff pretty close. So I think it's time we're going to do our first pull. I'm going to unhook the boost controller, and I'm just going to run the reference off of the turbo straight to the bottom of the wastegate and eliminate the boost controller for this first pull, because I don't know what spring is in the wastegate, and I want to verify that before we start adding all of this contraption of boost control. So I'm going to unhook it here, and I'm going to hook it straight into there. So, and then we will do a pull. It'll probably be pretty rich on this first hit, and I have like, I don't even know, 17 degrees or something in it at the top end at like 10 pounds. So, and then scaled up to that. So we'll see what kind of power it makes, and we'll see if we can optimize timing and air fuel and make any better changes. But hopefully this thing makes some good power and holds up. Not too bad for the first rip. I think I saw 5 pounds on the boost gauge, 5 or 6, and it was like 10-1 air fuel. Stupid rich. But we made 190 horsepower, 192 foot-pounds of torque. So this is what our power curve is looking like so far. Look how early this thing stands up. 4,500 or so, it's freaking flatline torque. That is awesome, and it's still making pretty decent torque down here. That's one positive thing about the log manifold, is it lights the turbo pretty quick. I shouldn't say that. These eBay little 50 trims actually are properly sized for these little B series motors, so they work pretty good usually, as long as the turbo itself doesn't have issues. So let's see what else we can get out of this thing. I'm gonna lean it out a little bit. I'm gonna pull like 10 or 15% fuel out of it, see what kind of difference it makes. Like I said, it was like 10-20 air fuel when I glanced down. We did make about 2 more horsepower. It overlaid almost perfectly. I just revved it a little bit higher, and our air fuel was a little bit leaner, but not by a whole lot. And like I said, this is on about 5 pounds of boost. I laid into it a little bit earlier in the run, so it did stand up a little sooner, and it carried the power out pretty well. This is a nice looking power curve. Let me show you just horsepower real quick. So that's the horsepower curve. It looks awesome. I'm pretty stoked about that. 192 horsepower, which is a little low, but you know, this is like I said, a log manifold, and it is only on about 5 pounds of boost. So I think on this next one, I might trickle in 2 degrees of timing and see if it responds to timing at all. I do have quite a bit of timing yanked out of it right now. I might show you the timing map that I have in it. It's pretty conservative, just to get stuff rolling here and figure out where everything's gonna wanna be. I wanted to make sure the boost was gonna be steady and it wasn't spiking or anything weird. So like I said, I started off with that. And now, yeah, I'm gonna give it 2 degrees in boost and see if it responds. Yeah, I literally made the same exact horsepower. That was about 23 degrees up top. Overlaid. 2 degrees made 0 change. So, I mean, it picked up a half a horsepower. So I'll probably pull the timing back out of it. And see if we can feed it a little bit of boost. You guys got to remember that this thing does have a pretty narrow exhaust on it, like 2¼ inch, so that might be limiting some things. I don't know if this intake at all is causing any issues or not. Maybe we'll take the filter off and see if it makes a difference at all. And maybe we'll put a T in this boost line, see if we can get the boost up around 10 pounds. I'd like to make around 250 horsepower with this thing. I think that's what the guy was having in mind. 250 horsepower should be pretty obtainable. We just might need a little more boost. That boost gauge might be reading a little high too, who knows? Or it might be on less boost than what we think, because the gauge inside the car is reading, about 5. And this thing probably makes, if it makes 150 horsepower naturally aspirated, you know, 5 pounds, that's about 10 horse per pound or whatever. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I was a little stumped at this point tuning this car, because I'm like, man, I put timing in it and I did not have much timing in it. So typically, like a B series VTEC car, even on pump gas, they'll take like 19-ish degrees on 10 pounds of boost, and at about 5 pounds of boost they'll take like 23 24 degrees, and then wide open without any boost they'll take like 26, 28. And I kind of based my timing table off of that because on this non-VTEC car I would just put that kind of timing in it above 4,500 or 5,000 RPM. And I did, and I pulled like 4 degrees just because I always start super conservative and safe until I iron out all the stuff that I did, and then I'll trickle in the timing and see how everything responds. I always start conservative and work your way up kind of thing. But I put 2 degrees in it, and it not making any change, being as conservative as I was to start, was concerning, because I'm like, this, it definitely seems off. Something's up. And for me to put the timing in it, and for it also to not make a difference in power whatsoever, going from like 10.1 or 10.2 air fuel up to like an 11.6 air fuel, it made 0 horsepower change, shows that this thing was pretty prone to detonation. And they won't audibly detonate or show signs of detonation until like they're 4 degrees or 6 degrees past where they make peak power. So that's something else to keep in mind. And also, running a good fuel will usually show a power gain because the detonation ceiling is lower. They will show a gain leaning the air fuel. This car did neither. I leaned the air fuel, it didn't make a change. I put more timing in it, didn't make a change. So I'll be honest, guys, this car left my shop with a 10.6 air fuel and the initial timing I had in it, which was very conservative, and it made the same exact power after the fact. But we'll keep going with this video. I just wanted to kind of speak on that a little bit to give a little bit of clarity to this, and hopefully spread some more knowledge to you guys. And another thing I wanted to tell you guys is it's always safer to add boost than it is to add timing or air fuel. Keep your air fuel and your timing conservative, and add boost if you want to add power safer. Boost is always safer to make power on than it is to make power with timing or air fuel. So just another thing to keep in mind. Alright guys, we're going to see if we can get the boost up a little bit. I'm putting a T in the wastegate line, so some of the air is going to get bypassed before it hits the wastegate. It's kind of tricking the wastegate to open later. So instead of 5 pounds, hopefully we'll see like 7 or 8, and hopefully we see a power gain. Give it a whirl. Did make 7 pounds, so we did pick up about 2 pounds of boost, but I blew the vacuum line off of the boost gauge inside the car. It started going I'll show you. So this little thing down here is going to the back of the boost gauge, and it was reading 0, and this popped off, so I'm gonna have to try to find the vacuum line that's hooked up to. But let's see over 200 horse, guys. Hopefully that's what we're gonna see here. Oh yeah, 211. So just as I thought, you know, 2 pounds of boost, we picked up 20 horsepower. So maybe we'll add another T. 211. We'll see if we can get, ideally, 10 pounds of boost. Hopefully this thing will make like 240 horsepower, and he'll be happy. So he does have another wastegate spring inside the car. Instead of putting another T, I might take the cap off of this wastegate and stiffen the wastegate spring to get more boost. So I might do that quick. But yeah, 200, yeah. The cool thing about these little non-VTEC motors is they make torque. And this thing makes almost exactly the same amount of torque that it does horsepower. So if you can see here, it makes 211 and 209. So that's pretty cool. And you can see our split difference here in power just from adding the T. All right, so I got a couple wastegate springs here, and I took the took the cap off of this one, and I'm going to, it had this spring in it, the center. Oop. It had just this little spring in here, and this one was in the passenger seat of the car, so I'm actually gonna put both of them in, because this one's pretty soft, and this one's fairly stiff, and it only gave us 5 or 6 pounds. The length is also going to change how much boost it gets, but we're gonna keep an eye on everything and put both of them in, and I'm hoping we'll be around 10, maybe 11 pounds without a T, and we should be good to go. I'm hoping. So let's try this out, see how much boost we get, and see how much power we can make. All right, let's see if we can hit a little bit more power and a little bit more boost. I got both the springs in the wastegate now. We'll see what she does. That was right at like 9 pounds of boost. We did make quite a bit more power. Hell yeah. 240 horsepower and 237 foot-pounds of torque. And on the top end of the pole, you can see here, it actually started falling off on power because it was like 9.8 air fuel. It was pretty rich. A lot of this is telling me that this setup is a little bit choked because I have 2 pretty decent springs in the gate, and I'm only getting about 9 or 10 pounds. And the way that the fuel map is set up, it shouldn't be this rich. It's just kind of telling me like it's choked up exhaust-wise, back pressure, stuff like that. Especially if you have to spring up quite a bit to get boost out of it. I kind of figured putting both those springs in, I'd be right around 10 pounds, where normally on something else it might be like 13 pounds or 14 with both of those springs. So yeah, I'm gonna clean up the fuel, and we're gonna give her one more rip. That one might have made a little bit more power. Yes, sir. Picked up on the top where it was falling off before. 242 horsepower, 236 foot-pounds of torque. Hell yeah. The first run, I leaned it out a little bit too much. But that second run, which is this blue, the darker, I don't even know what color that is, maybe like purple color. You can see up top where it's separated, and it stayed making power instead of falling off. That was awesome. And yeah, this thing's running awesome. I still gotta play with the idle a little bit because when I come off the gas, it wants to dip really low and then come back up and dip and low and whatever. So I might make another video dedicated to how to set your idle on one of these setups, or pretty much any, you know, OBD1 style Honda motor, B series, D series, even K series stuff. We're gonna have to bump up the mechanical idle speed on the throttle body, and get the thing to quit dipping when I lift off the gas. I rev it and it wants to die because the idle air control can't really react fast enough. See, it didn't do it too bad there, but it's really happening more so when I drive it. and I come off the gas after a pull, it wants to dip really low and then come back. So, and I guarantee if I unplug the idle air control right now, a car would completely die. So, yeah. So the idle right now is fine once I come to a complete stop, but just driving and stuff like that, it was giving me a little issue. So I'll probably work on that a little bit more. But we have made a good amount of horsepower with this little non-VTEC B18B basic eBay kit. A ton of fun. That was cool. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little 3-part series with this little EK Civic. So hopefully the customer's happy and he enjoys it, and can't wait to see what's next. So stay tuned, guys. Subscribe if you guys are new, like the video, and God bless. Have a great night and a better tomorrow. See ya.